Morey put a Ben Simmons-sized hole in it. I think Joel Embiid realizes they're not going to win the championship. But if Tyrese Maxey continues to improve, Tobias Harris continues to come around, and you still get some help by the trade deadline, I think Joel Embiid's thinking, okay, I can lock up that MVP award with the rest of this season and maybe make a push to the Eastern Conference Finals. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll do that. This actually came up the other day. Not so much the Joel Embiid thing, but just about the Sixers' odds of making it out of the East, right? The question was from the angel sent to us from the heavens to speak about basketball, Malika Andrews. I'm just giving you her proper name. That's her proper title. I didn't make the rules, folks. But anyway, an amazing angel of a woman, Malika Andrews, asked the question of that fella, what's his name? I'm blanking on the gentleman's name. Richard Jefferson and Kendrick Perkins. Do the Sixers have a chance? What's the percentage you would give the Sixers of a chance to win the East? And Richard Jefferson said 0. They don't even have a chance. Kendrick Perkins quickly jumped in and said, I give him about 25%. But Richard Jefferson's argument was that, look, no matter where they are in the standings, a half game out of first place in the Eastern Conference, you got to compare them to the teams, not how they're playing now, but how they'll play in the playoffs. Like, the Nets are going to be a lot better in the playoffs than they are right now. The Milwaukee Bucks are going to be a lot better in the playoffs than they are right now. The Bulls, the same type of thing. Toronto Raptors are actually playing some good basketball right now. To look at the Sixers and say they just don't have a chance whatsoever is ludicrous. That's ridiculous. Of course they have a chance. But when it comes to judging them just by looking at the standings, you can't do that. Anyone who watched them last year should know that. Number 1 seed, went into the playoffs, lost in 7 games in the Eastern Conference semis to the Hawks. And not only did they lose that game, but the franchise has been set ablaze since, thanks to Ben Simmons and his antics and his camp's antics. Ridiculous. But you can't just look at the standings now and be like, oh, look how good they could win the East. Yes, correct. Could. These, no. Second round of the playoffs? Yeah, they can probably get back there. They probably get back to the second round of the playoffs with Joel Embiid alone. Yeah, sure. Tyrese Maxey improving, Tobias Harris, trade deadline acquisition. Yeah, sure, they could get back to that point. But I don't see it happening. Not without getting a substantial amount of help by the trade deadline. And I still don't think the Sixers make a deal by the trade deadline that involves Ben Simmons. I think that's going to drag into the offseason. Now, this report that came out from The Athletic, David Aldridge was one of the reporters on the case here. And this is where we'll get into the whole Bradley Beal deal. I have said since Bradley Beal's name first got mentioned as part of the top 25 players that the Sixers want in return, an all-star player, all-star caliber player for Ben Simmons, I have said from jump, get me Bradley Beal. Do that right now. Now, that's for 2 reasons. One, I think Bradley Beal's a hell of a player. The other is it's a straight-up type of thing. Maybe you're throwing in a pick, maybe, but it should be a straight-up type of deal. The money's right there, matching. But one team gets a 3-time All-Star, the other team gets a 3-time All-Star. The team that's looking to rebuild a little bit gets a younger 3-time All-Star. Yeah, that's what even trade. Great. Thank you very much. Signed, sealed, delivered. Do the deal. But now the story that comes out is that the Sixers are unwilling to part with Matisse Thybulle or Tyrese Maxey, along with Ben Simmons, to get Bradley Beal. So let's unpack that for a second. And I've seen social media be use this phrase 2 days in a row. There's been a great conflagration of social media about how Sixers, no way, don't do this deal. Sixers absolutely do this deal. Like, there's nobody in the middle here in terms of whether or not you're trading Thybulle or Maxey along with Ben Simmons to get Bradley Beal. So let's go into it like this. If the Washington Wizards really want Ben Simmons, and they only want him if he's accompanied with Matisse Thybulle, and you're getting Bradley Beal in return, okay, I'll do that deal. I don't want to do that deal. That's a deal that I think the Wizards, they win by a little bit there. They certainly do. But I'll tell you the deal I'm not doing. No way in hell. And I think people should have their head examined if they think this is the deal they would do to get Bradley Beal in Philadelphia. There is no way I am trading Ben Simmons and Tyrese Maxey for Bradley Beal. That ain't happening. People keep talking about Bradley Beal's contract. He's got 2 years left on it. He kind of does. He kind of does it. Next year, he's got a player option. You could essentially be trading Ben and Tyrese Maxey, who's got, I think, a tremendous upside to him. You could be trading those 2 players for Bradley Beal, who could leave you after the remainder of the season and maybe a dud in the playoffs. Why would I want to do that? Why would I even want to roll the dice on that? Oh, you can't waste the time of Joel Embiid. You know what really wastes the time of Joel Embiid? Wasting the next 3 years after this one.